The Inside Edge Network is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans, dedicated to our favorite teams and athletes to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We're talking NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, National Hockey League, the NCAA. I'm a wrestling guy as well. We got WWE apparel available too. It allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. It's right there in the corner of your screen. Get your official gear. Level up with us at fanatics.com.
With that, welcome into another episode of Conversations with Eli Moon here on the Inside Edge Network. I'm your host, Eli Moon, and today I am very happy to have my guest over, I believe to your right, my left, a great artist in the city of Cleveland, known nationally, just a lot of accomplishments. We're going to talk about all that here today. It's my bro, PXVBS. How you doing, bro?
Good, man.
Good. Happy to have you on the pod. Happy to have a conversation about just a lot of things. I feel like there's something that artists lack, and it's like the knowledge of the business side of things. Everybody dives in and is excited to create music, but then it's like, then what? So I'm excited to talk about that and just your journey with music and where you got to this point. So I'm excited.
Well, yeah, we could definitely talk about that for hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Normal days.
many phone calls. And walk people that may not know who Phoenix Vibes is, like the backstory of like where you started with music. Where did your love for music kind of begin, and when did you know like, okay, I want to start working on my craft here?
I would say I was probably 8 years old. My cousin and I would like type songs on like Microsoft Word, and then like fast forward to like middle school era. That's when I really kind of locked in with it. So I kind of had like some roots there, like some fond memories of like collaborating with my cousin Shelby on like just like little silly songs.
Yeah.
But then when it got to middle school, I think it really became important to me. Probably around 7th grade, because I was into sports too.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was in 7th grade we had like football tryouts for Greenbrier.
Yeah.
And I remember I was one of the littlest kids, and they put me up against like one of the bigger kids. I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, it was Tim Long, my homie Tim Long.
Okay.
I'll never forget this. If he watches this, he'll probably laugh. But they took like the biggest kid and the smallest kid, and they made us like hit with the pads on for the first time.
Yeah.
And I just remember like I got off the ground, my knee pads were on the back of my knees. Like he rocked my world. So I went back to the drawing board and I was like, maybe I don't play football this year. And I remember going to school and just feeling kind of like socially like I didn't have like as much value socially, if that makes sense. Like. Yeah. I would see the teachers asking the kids on the first day, like in the football jerseys, like, oh, like who are you guys playing this week? And I just kind of saw socially like how much value like people had for athletes in school. Yeah. And I kind of felt like this hole in my heart where I was like, I want to prove myself like in the ethos and in the sphere of like kids finding their way socially, and I think what happened was we had a project for English class, and one of my friends that was on the football team dared me, because we would always joke around like 106 in Park, like freestyling like at lunch and stuff. And I think they were like, I bet you won't write a rap for the project for the English class. And little did he know, I took that very personally, and I went home and actually like wrote something.
Yeah.
And I spit it for the class like the next day. And I just remember my English teacher, Miss Palazzi, shout out to Miss Palazzi, she loved it so much she almost like fell out of her chair, and she went across the hallway to the other classroom and got the other teacher. So now that other teacher and her whole class, she brought them back and she said, now do it again. And I was like, that was like the moment where I was like, yo, I could choke here and my career's over forever.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Now for you, like, I mean, that's like in the school era. Were you like going by an artist name at that point, or were you just kind of perform? Like, where were you at in that stages? I mean, after that, because like, I met you as Phoenix Vibes, right? And like, I know like the PXVBS. You know, you do the chants at shows. We'll talk about that like later on and things like that. But like, were you going by an artist name, or were you just rapping at that time?
I wasn't really branded at that point. My stepdad, he always called me T Wizzle.
Okay.
So I think like my YouTube was like Wizzle 96 or something.
Okay.
You know, but then like Wiz Khalifa came out shortly after that. I mean, that was probably like 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then once Wiz Khalifa came out, and he was like, "It's Wizzle, man," and I was like, "Oh, I gotta find a brand." Yeah. So I think I wasn't really worried about branding that. It was just something I loved to do. I loved always like English and playing with words and like, you know, developing like my lexicon and like, but I think that's when everyone started asking me like, yo, when's the mixtape dropping? Like, when's the tape dropping? And like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have demand now. Like, people are like coming to me asking me about it. Like, so like that's kind of where it started. But the branding journey has been a long journey, like trying to get your name right and making sure that name clears on all platforms, and nobody's done that before, because we all think we have like these original ideas, but like there's truly like nothing original like under the sun. So yeah, I didn't really know myself at that age either. I just knew like I was trying to make music and be like 106 in Park and like Nick Cannon and like Lil Wayne was like a big influence for me back then. So I think I was just still trying to, you know, find that lane of like, okay, he's Wheezy and he's Drizzy, and like what's kind of like my handle, you know? So
yeah, and that's something that I do like appreciate about your artistry is like you find yourself locked in the studio. I think a lot of artists, you know, early on, and I'm guilty of it. When I first like started making music, I was like, all right, I got 5 songs, I'm going to perform. And these are my 5 songs. And if they ask for a 6th, we don't got it.
Like, just do it, or just run it back.
We're just running it
yeah,
back.
just run the hit back.
Talk about the process being in the studio, like, because you do a lot of like, your own self-production, and you record other artists at times too. Kind of talk about like self-production and like your recording process, maybe even early on until where it's evolved today. Like, where is that taking you?
Definitely. So I want to say the first, you know, when people started asking me to record, like in middle school, I kind of had to figure that out. I mean, I was all of like 12, 13 years old, so I wasn't working yet. My mom was very poor, so like I think what happened was I somehow like took some birthday money. I went to Radio Shack. I bought one of those desktop like stick microphones, and I started recording into that. I got a program on my mom's computer that was just, you could layer 2 tracks of audio on top of each other, and I downloaded that and I started recording into the stick mic, and then I didn't even realize that was a job like called engineering. Like I didn't realize I was engineering at the time, but I was just trying to get my voice on to the computer so that I could upload it to Hot New Hip Hop or Dat Piff or MySpace or whatever we were using back then, you know?
Yeah.
So that was like kind of like my first steps, and then I did that a few times. I had a couple songs recorded, and people online were hearing it, and one of my mom's friends, her friend Nicole, she was, I think she's an author. I don't know what she was doing for work at the time, but she actually mailed me one of my first like condenser mics, just like bought me a mic because she just, you know, her and my mom were tight, and she just wanted to like foster that in me, I guess. Like she just like appreciated my like initiative. But that was like my first like hustle, was get my voice onto, back then it was CDs, you know, I'm aging myself right now. But then I would go to, nobody knows this, I used to go to Drug Mart, and Drug Mart, you used to rent movies from Drug Mart?
Yeah.
In those plastic cases?
Yeah.
They would have them sitting at the end of the aisle, like in a bundle. And one time I just asked them, like, can I like buy these from you? And they were like, yeah. And they would give me like 10 of those plastic cases for like $1. And I would go there, I would buy my CDs from Walmart, and then I would go there and buy a stack of like cases for way cheaper than like Walmart's like cheap, like those Jewel cases, like they were like good cases.
Yeah.
And then I would like burn a CD, write on it, burn a CD, write on it, you know? So like that was kind of like my early process of that. Like it developed over time. You know, every year or so you get like a new toy and you play with it for a little bit, and like so now like I've been engineering for like most of my career. Like I record in studios, but for me it was always like a comfort thing. Like I want to be able to take my time with, like, it might take me 10 or 20 takes to get that right take. So I just enjoyed recording at home because there was like less pressure, and I could kind of be comfortable and like let my guard down more so than like when you're in the studio on the clock. It's a little bit like more pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like where I got my early roots. You know, I was recording on a Acoustico Mixcraft.
Yeah.
For the real, yeah, that's a gem. Like bro knows ball. If you know Acoustico Mixcraft, you know ball.
Dude, and it's like, you talk about the CD era. Like, I remember like Pharaoh, who I recorded with back at Signal Flow when I first started. He was the first engineer I worked with. Walking around at Parma Community, which is like right down the way, handing CDs off, and I'm like, you know, I wasn't in music at the time, so I'm like trying to understand the gravity. And now here I am 7 years later. I'm like, why are we on all streaming platforms? Why aren't we creating the platform? Can you talk about like why do you think we've strayed away, like maybe as people, as human beings, like the fans, the audience, why did we stray away from that physical nature? Because it was CDs and getting your favorite poster signed and merch, like those were the biggest things. Now it seems like we are in the era of Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, like those types of things. Why do you think we stepped away from that?
I want to say, like, if I had to distill it down to one word, it's just risk. Like, it's risky to buy an album for $16 if you don't know what the album sounds like yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want to say, like, on the consumer end, it's, like, less risk for the consumer. On the company's end, like, on the machine, as they call it, on the machine's end, it's, for us as indies, it's really hard to be, hey, you want every song in the world for $10. You want every song ever created for $10. Like, I mean, you can't really compete with that from a value perspective as like an indie. Like, we could work our whole lives and not have that much value in one proposition. But it's very interesting because if you look at like the stock price of Spotify and these streaming companies, even though they lose money every year because it's not a sustainable like model necessarily, the stock price keeps going up every year. Spotify's actually never turned a profit, not one quarter. Have they ever turned a profit? But yeah, I mean, without getting in the weeds too much, like their strategy is kind of like market dominance. Like they just want to be that. They know that in the end, like if everybody's using them, like eventually, like it might not even be about profit for them, more so just market share. But yeah, it's really interesting, like you said, like because I always thought like if it was something that were to benefit artists, why can't, and this is for you, Spotify guy, why can't I go live on Spotify?
Yeah. I mean,
why can I not go on Spotify and talk to my fans? Like that's like my biggest thing is like if it was for us, or if it was to the benefit of the artist, we might be able to like engage with our listeners a little bit more. They don't even tell you who listened.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And you know, I think you've done a good job, like not to fast forward for a second here, but you've done a good job with your brand, with the PXVBS brand. Like you have the website, you have like, you're always in the face of people like taking back like control of like, well, if they're not going to allow me to do it on these platforms, like you said, on Spotify and Apple Music or whatever, we'll do the Unwrapped or those types of things. But it seems like you've taken that approach to going back to the like underground days of like, hey, if you want to come see me, like, you know, you got to come see my website. You got to come to a show. You got to come really invest with me here. Because I'm not going to lie, the other day, me and Posse had to drive to Columbus. We had to go 2 hours to go see my little brother. It was his birthday and it was Easter. We were going down there. And I was like, let me put some Phoenix Fives on. And then I was like, his catalog's gone. And I understand why, because it's on the website now. Can you talk about like what led you to that decision? Was it because of what we just talked about with like the Spotify thing, or was it something deeper than that?
I think that's just all I know. Like, I had a bunch of songs on How Do Hip Hop.
Yeah.
And then one day they just changed. Like one day they weren't like gone, but they just became like a blog at some point. Same thing with DatPiff. Like a lot of my early projects were on DatPiff, and then it was just poof. One day it was just gone. So I think there's a little trauma there in terms of like I like to have like control over like, you know, the product that I'm like attempting to. If you can call it a product, it's, you know, it's so weird with music. Such an interesting business model, but like if another company has like kind of control over your like distribution or over your like how your platform, like one day, like this isn't likely, but I'm just saying it's possible that like you could wake up and like Instagram's gone, and then there's people with like 1 million followers on Instagram that like they can't access their audience anymore. So like I just always think of like I always like catastrophize. Like they say you should try to put yourself out of business, because then you can like adapt to like things that you didn't see coming better because you've kind of like seen it coming. It's not always healthy to like ruminate on like what could go wrong, but like I always think of like this is a constantly evolving industry, and like, you know, if you don't kind of be proactive about it, you can. I've missed that wave so many times, or been kind of like affected by like the things where like, you know, I'm selling CDs and then all of a sudden nobody has a CD player, and
but it makes sense. And I was like, you're seeing record players come back into the fold, where like people love record players again, you know. And I like my bro Omar, he'll call me every other weekend. He's like, hey, I just got a new vinyl, and I'm like,
Flomar?
Dude, my dude Omar, I've known him since I was 18 years old. He's
Idris?
been different guy. He's actually, I've known him since I was in broadcasting days back when I was 18. But he's such a like music head, and he's like, dude, vinyl's the best way to listen to it. So now I'm gonna give an Eli Moon vinyl, get it over to him. You know. But I mean, you know, let's scale it back here for just a second, because I don't want to get too far ahead before we kind of like dive into how we got here. So like Phoenix Vibes, like we talked about the name like itself, like what went into the name Phoenix Vibes?
So we talked about like I kind of started before I had a brand. So as I kind of was releasing projects and stuff, I had to, you know, when they're talking about like artist name, you got to put something there. And I didn't want to use my government name, just for creative purposes, you know. It works for some artists, but like I wasn't crazy about my government name. And then so at some point in middle school, no, it was like freshman year, I remember I was in biology and they were talking about like the pH balance or something. So that's when I was like, oh, I could be faux, like pH 0. I could be like the most toxic something could be. Because I was just worried about spitting fire back then. So that was like my big thing, was like, oh, like pH 0 is like the, you know, how toxic something is. So like it started there, and then it was like faux. It was like, yo, faux. And then one day I like Googled myself, and I was like, I'm gonna just Google myself, you know? It was like months and months, and probably a year or two into releasing music as faux. I couldn't find myself. I was just buried in Vietnamese soup. Like, like pho. Yeah, dude, it was just hundreds of pages of pho before me. And I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, even at a young age, I was like, I need SEO. And so, you know, like I didn't even know what that meant. I was just like, I don't want to not be able to find myself, because if I can't find me, other people definitely can't find me.
They're like, we looked you up, we just found a bunch of soup.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of soup, dude. So like, yeah, instead of changing my whole name again, I added fizzy to it. It was like Fizzy Fo. It was like kind of like my ode to the Drizzies and the Wheezies and the, you know, the Young Jeezys and the Kanyeezys of the time. You know, and I was like, okay, I'll be Fizzy Fo, and that helped me pop up in the search algorithms a lot better. Then, you know, I was Fizzy Fo for a long time. Fast forward to like 2015, I want to say, my daughter was being born, and I was kind of going through that thing that a 19-year-old having a kid is going through, where I'm like, yo, I want to be a man, and I want to be a father, and like I want to kind of like think about going, you know, national with this dream. And Fizzy Fo just felt like when I said it, it was just like this, oh, like this little cute thing. It was just like this little neighborhood name that I just, you know, I wanted to expand. So I really racked my brain with it for a long time, until I ended up, but I wanted to pay homage to where I came from at the same time. So that's where Phoenix came from. But then obviously there's nothing original under the sun, so like there is a French band I think named Phoenix. So like I went to go distribute my first project and they were like, you can't be Phoenix, and I was like, what? And so release date of that was I remember it was 2016, 17. I dropped an EP because there was an eclipse happening, and I go to release the project, and they said you can't be that, you have to change your name. So now it's release day and I have no name, you know. I couldn't be Phoenix. I'm like, I'm not changing my name now. I have songs where I'm calling myself Phoenix and all these jokes and all these lyrics that rely on that name. So that's when I just added the vibes, where it was Phoenix Vibes. And then fast forward a couple more years, I got so sick of, what's your name? Phoenix. How do you spell it? PHOENIXVIBES. And
don't forget the space.
Yeah, don't forget the space. I just got so sick of that. It was just, it wasn't clean enough. It wasn't packaged enough to where I think like I modernized it and just shrunk the name down to like PXVBS, to where it was like, this is clean. It still gets my point across. And like, I'm still Phoenix Vibes, and I'm still paying homage to that original foe. But like, yeah, it's been like, branding is a journey, you know. It's like it's really hard. You see these artists like pop out of nowhere and just go into the stratosphere, and they already have their name and their colors and everything, their brand so cleanly aligned, and what's on brand, what their mission statement is. Like, they have all this stuff. There's someone behind the scenes coaching them on that brand. They've had boardroom meetings about that brand. You know, for normal people that don't have a team behind them, it's just a painstaking trial and error. Like, I've always just been a scientist. Like, I just wanted to, I can take advice, but also I'm still gonna try out what I thought originally. And then, like, you know, I'm not so proud that I'll be like, no, my hypothesis was wrong. That actually is the best way to do it, but I still have to test it out. So like, I've gone through these like over the years of like, but I wanted something for my name that could sit next to Drake on a song and not sound like puny or wimpy, or like I wanted something like larger than life. Like, Drake is like this dragon, like this big, you picture something. So like, that's kind of what it was about for me. It was like, Phoenix represents like resilience and endurance, and that failure is like crashing and burning, and failure is baked into success. Like, you literally don't get one without the other. So it's like, I kind of like, that's where I've always been really good at, is just failing really fast and then taking that feedback and then pivoting based off that, or pushing based on if I got good feedback, you know. So like, that's kind of like the what I'm going for, and like what I want people to think about when they hear Phoenix Vibes. It's like it is bright, and it is mythical, and it is fire and heat, but it's also like rebirth, and it's also like redemption, and you know, these kinds of like forever concepts that, like, you know, the process of life is just, you know, you live, you burn, you die, and you're resurrected. You know, we're coming off Easter, where you know, me being a believer, is like, resurrection is like kind of a very close topic to my heart, because I do believe that like there was someone who conquered the grave. So it might be like a mythical creature, but like, you know, that's just me trying to, you know, what would Jesus do? Yeah. You know.
And I want to ask you, you talked about like the pivot there, like the Phoenix Vibes, because of like, obviously you had, like, you became a father, like you had people like you were, you know, that were counting on you. If you don't mind me asking, you kind of talk about the balance of doing the music career, like having this music career, and then also being a father, like balancing those two things, you know, and being able to go through day to day on top of everything else you got going on.
Yeah, my daughter just turned 11. She's my everything. I definitely, my lifestyle changed a lot when she was born. Even though like her mother and I weren't even necessarily like very like together at the time of, we were just young kids, and so I think for me it was like the whole pivot going from, it's okay to be a starving artist when it's just you.
Yeah.
When people are dependent on you, it feels different. You don't just take a day off work and not get like a stomach full of guilt. Like, you're not gonna enjoy your day. You can take the day off, but you're just gonna hate yourself, you know. So I think it's for me, I had to grow into a work ethic, and then even, you know, through my 20s, like, I was still developing that to the point where even, you know, more recently, like, my focus has been on getting good at resting, getting good at replenishing, and because you can just work yourself off a cliff. And so, like, that's when you just start life in a hole. You know, I got my GED. I didn't graduate, and I didn't have like college going on. I had so much like kind of like juvenile drama chaos in my house that it really held me back from like enjoying my like high school experience a lot. But like, to, you know, I hadn't really even rebounded from that when Serenity was born. But you know, when that baby comes out and you're looking back at you, and you're just like, okay, like, I get it. You know, all those things that parents say, it's like it just clicks, and you're like, okay, I gotta make something happen. And so I was doing like part-time at McDonald's, part-time landscaping, and you know, I went and got my first sales job, and kind of like tried to make more money faster and like educate myself, because I didn't like, I tried to go to college, but I wasn't able to like work and go to school, like, and balance that. So it was kind of trial and error in, okay, how much am I supposed to be working? I know I'm supposed to be working, but like, how much is too much? And then there's other times where your creative, like this artist that I am, just takes the wheel. And sometimes I'm like, yo, this thing's getting done. Whether I miss work tomorrow or not, like, I'll try to get up and go to work on 2-3 hours of sleep, and I've done it plenty of times, but like, your body eventually will let you know when you need a break, you know? Yeah. So I think I've burned out. I think I literally lived up to my name in a lot of ways, because like, I would burn out a lot through my 20s.
But something like you've been focused on too, like you're talking about, like, you know, focus on going and get it for the family, for your daughter, for like the people that are counting on you.
Yeah.
Something that we've had conversations about is like the sync placements, like that's something that was the last couple of years especially you've been focused on, and that's something that a lot of artists don't really understand. There's value there. I mean, there's value obviously in, like, you know, I book shows here in Cleveland out of state, and there's value there, and value in dropping songs and dropping albums. There's value there. There's also value in getting on your favorite TV show or your favorite movie or whatever. Can you talk about that, because you've had some success, and congratulations on that, because you've been on multiple placements now. Can you kind of talk about like going after that, like the process of that, because it seems like that is one of those lanes where, talking about taking care of a family, taking care of people that rely on you, that is one of those unknown secrets, it feels like, of the music game, that sync placements are where it's at with a lot of things. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, dude, sync is really cool. It's sync licensing is basically when a company needs music for a project that they're gonna release media wise. That music has to be cleared lest that company be sued by the copyright holder. So like, the process for me was, there's a lot of education in between you having a song and a company paying you a paycheck for that song. But it's similar to when, like, you buy a beat from a producer on YouTube. You're not buying the MP3 file, you're buying a license to use that MP3 file. It's the same thing, you're going to companies to do it. And that could be, like, a couple of my placements were like Fox Sports and like CBS, like BET Plus, All Black, We. These are some of the companies that picked up bought the license to use the songs that we completed. But you have to own the music first and foremost. And I think what I realized was, me buying a license from a producer on YouTube, that even though I paid that producer, the company, the TV show or whatever movie project that's using the song, they don't want the liability of having someone that they didn't talk to come back and sue them, potentially, because like there's everybody's beat licenses are different. You know, as a producer, you can run your business however you want. So if you want to write something into the contract, you can't. It would take too much legal hours and money and time for TV companies to like get their lawyer to check every producer license for every beat that comes across. So it just becomes a mess. But I realized I was buying all these beats, and they were generally worthless to me in terms of like making a profit back. In terms of a business, like where's the money coming from? Is it coming? Yeah, I pay you $200 for this beat. Spotify's gonna give me $6 and some change back or something in a year or whatever. Some people, they kill it on streaming. I wasn't one of those artists. So for me, I kept getting my streaming numbers back and being like, cool, I made $2 this year. Yeah. DistroKid cost $20 to keep my music up. So like I lost $18 this year. Like, and I was looking at it like that where, you know, I can buy this beat license, but at the end of the day, I can't do very much with that license. That license actually doesn't. That's like getting your driver's license, but you can only drive on Mondays. And you're like, this doesn't help me, you know? So a lot of producers, like I respect that that's their business model. It just didn't help me much. And so like as you learn more about publishing and sync licensing, you realize you have to own this music. And then I'm looking around, I always say that I learned music backwards because I started on a digital audio workstation. I was never an analog musician. A lot of musicians that I grew up around were analog first and then tried to learn digital. I was like digital and had to learn an instrument, had to go pick up a keyboard and a microphone and like, you know, add this stuff to it. So I think that's been a journey too of like, how do I make music that not only do I own, but it's good? Because that's the thing, YouTube beats are raw, but like I don't own it. But like I can make a beat, but is it good? Like we can lie to ourselves and be like, yeah, it's raw, but like there is a quality gap between before you know what you're doing and how to mix and how to EQ every instrument, every single instrument. You have to EQ drums, EQ the melody, whatever that is, piano, guitar, you know, let alone mixing the vocals. You have to mix all the little hi-hats and the high frequency sounds. These are all, you have to have a certain amount of hours in each instrument to make each instrument sound like, to where one of them doesn't stick out, you know? So it's been a process of like learning music, learning business. It's just always an education thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a big thing for me too. But like sync is a worthwhile, that's something to shoot for. If you make music that feels like an emotion, can set a scene, because that's essentially what it's for. Is like to, you know, in a movie you're gonna have that movie would not be the same without the music in the scene.
Oh yeah.
You know.
No, you're right. You're right. And you talk about playing the instruments, like learning. Like I've seen you pick up like piano, like you know, and the keys and like things like that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that too, because it's been real cool seeing you like perform. You usually performed at the album release show, Golden Child album release show we had in February. But a lot of times you have the keys with you.
Yeah.
And Pops is always like, "Is Phoenix bringing the keys with him?" I was like, "I don't know. We'll find out."
We'll
but
see.
you know, talk about that, like in your growth, like as an artist on stage too, because like, you know, we talked about like the recording side of things, the sync, but like you definitely developed as an artist on stage too. I mean, you can go from rocking out with King Grim on a medley where, you know, you're rapping and then he just comes in and, you know, melts some faces off.
Yeah.
And then you have like where it's like real stripped down. Like at the Mental Health Awareness show, we had the Mind You Matter show at Dunlap's.
Right.
You had to strip down with like the keys and like we're really doing your thing. Can you talk about like your journey on the show side too, like where you're introducing an instrument now?
Definitely. Yeah, I started playing open mics with other like talented musicians in the area. Going to like Coda and Tremont and doing those open mics run by Mikey Silas. I love you, Mikey. I was performing with Chris Lugo a lot. I love you, Chris. He introduced me to all these other bands on the scene, like Frida and the Man and Relic and Fox Ears, and like there's really so many musicians that are on the scene. And there was a couple things I noticed. One was that even if somebody like didn't know the song, they would get on stage and just be like, "What are we doing? Oh, we're in B. We're in B. Okay, cool." And then they would just play like they never rehearsed together. And I would watch that and be like, "What language are they speaking?" That like cause you know music, but like I didn't have like a formal, like I knew like every good boy does fine, and you know, like I knew that, and like face, you know what I'm saying, face into space, but like I had no idea that it's this whole language that like once you speak it, it's like it just unlocks these doors for me. The second thing I noticed was, it's like that meme where you ever see the kid and he's like, "You guys are getting paid," and like I don't know if you can attest to this, but like you have to pay to rap.
Yeah.
You will get paid to play an instrument. I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna get like political here, but like there is a serious value discrepancy on a rapper versus a musician. And if you walk in with an instrument, all of a sudden now you're worth $200 for the night.
It is crazy how that works too. You know,
Yeah.
I was just talking about it, earlier today about just the pay to play, performance slot fees. Like, I can't do that. When I book shows, I actually pay the artist out. I think it's a lost art with people.
You do that way differently than like a lot of promoters it's probably because you're an artist first.
Yeah.
But yeah, that doesn't feel good when you're like, I was paying to miss work and do shows and then make like 0 fans off of it because it's really just like a bunch of rappers in the crowd and their fans.
Yeah.
They'll have 65 rappers on the bill and then they're rushing you off stage. Like the way that shows were structured, I did 100+ shows in that format, and then started doing open mics, and people were just like throwing money at me, and I was like, oh, like I gotta learn an instrument, and so I picked up keys, and I sucked for a year and did a lot of live sets where I was like messing up on stage, and then I would go home and like drill it, and like, yeah, I'm never gonna mess up again. But like, yeah, I've had that embarrassment and that kind of journey the past 2-3 years with the keys to where I do feel a little bit more comfortable like on stage. But yeah, that kind of changed everything for me because instead of like the business model being like you sell CDs or die, it's pretty much like you can go play a bar or play some covers and go, learn some new music, and then this bar will cut you in on liquor sales, or like there's kind of like a different leverage with playing an instrument. It's a little bit more entertaining, even if I'm not a classically trained pianist by any means, but like it's enough to where people kind of leave, they feel what you were trying to communicate, and that is performing. So
and it's cool too though, because you play the instrument, you play the keys, you're doing the thing there, but then you also are known as a reigning rap champ, Stream Space rap champ, and you have that as well. We talked about that, and I think that was a real cool moment for you. Can you talk about that as well? I mean, just like, because when I think about it, I think of like the underground scene, right?
Yeah.
Like you walked in there and it felt like we were in 8 Mile for a moment. Like walked in, everybody was like serious, everybody ready to rock, and there's some real talented artists. I had Smooth Quez on about a month ago. He was at Rap Champ, one of the artists performing. Big Duca, Fendio. You had some real strong names. That'd be fascinating. And you ended up winning Rap Champ. Can you kind of just, I know we probably should have had this before the instrument talk, but can you talk about Rap Champ for a moment too? Because that was so cool. I was there with you. I think the voting style, like you saw pop up on the screen. Just talk about that for a moment too, because that was probably one of my favorite Phoenix Vibes performances, because you were so locked in that night. I think we all went and grabbed food after too. But you're so serious eating the food after too. Is like, boom. Talk about Rap Champ if you don't mind.
that was the best food I ever ate, man.
Yeah, you're like, and I'll eat his food too. I'm not playing. I'm not Rap Champ. So talk to me about Rap Champ.
Dude, that was such a special night and a special moment. First of all, shout out to Savage. Shout out to Stream Space. For even creating a platform that artists could eat off of, and all the incredible MCs that were there that night. True, like you said, Duca and like Fascinate, and Nuke Franklin was there.
Yes.
Like everything was like, you had Quez on here. It was the top 8 out of I think 60 some artists that submitted. So it was an honor to even be there in the first place, because there's a lot of talent. Cleveland's not very big geographically, but it's so dense with so much talent and so much arts that I think an event like that really like highlights how much diversity there is, and the different kinds of rappers that were there. Fascinate is very different than a Smooth Quez, than a Fendio. You know, like those are vastly different artists and calibers, but elite in their own right. And so like I think Stream Space was like that Rap Champ thing was huge for me because A, there was cash on the line, and B, it was like, you know, I'm getting to that age where I've been in rap so long. You know, I've had my own little personal creative milestones, like Jumanji. Like I dropped a 100-song mixtape in 2019. Like I've done little things in my own career that was like, you know, I felt like I'm crowning myself with this achievement. Like I did it. Like I pushed through. I made 100 songs, released them all for free. But I didn't have anything like that was like proof. And I always had this like promise to people that I was gonna like make something of myself, but like I wanted proof over a promise. And so like I really locked in. It really started like weeks before the event, and I didn't promote online about it because I wanted to be super like secret about, like I didn't want it to feel like spammy. So I made like a document, like I wrote up like a Word document, like a letter, and I personally texted it to like a bunch of people.
Oh yeah.
And like, so like that was something I did differently to promote for it, because ultimately it was like a voting situation, like you said, where the winner was chosen by like the audience, and there was a QR code on screen that you would scan the code and vote for whoever you liked in that round. So I wasn't really worried about, like I had so much music at the time that I was like, I think I'm confident in the songs that I'm bringing, but it's at the end of the day, like the rules are like whoever gets these votes. So I was like, if I don't bring 10, 20 people here, I can just hang it up. And I really, really wanted to win. Like people don't see the stuff that goes into that winning. Like I took out a loan and bought equipment. I bought my own mic and like in-ear monitors for the event. It was my first set of in-ear monitors, and like I just wanted to show up like a professional. Like I was like, what would a rap champ do? And it was like, well, you know what the rap champ's not gonna do is pass the mic. Like this is my microphone, I'm not passing it, you know? Like so that was like my kind of like going into it. And also like the prep like mentally of like, this is probably extra, it's gonna sound like I'm capping so hard. Every night for like a month before the rap champ thing, I was in a thing anyways where I was doing cold showers, like cold plunges. Yeah. So I would cold plunge, 60 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but some days you really don't feel like doing it. It's like pushing through those walls. And I would cold plunge, and then as I was like warming the water up, my affirmations, I would like say stuff to myself. And that month, my affirmations was, I am the 2024 Stream Space Rap Champ. And I said it probably 1,000 times to myself. And like nobody like sees the stuff behind closed doors, but like that's just like sports or anything you want to succeed at in life. It's like there is going to be someone who's going to outwork you, and I'm always trying to outwork that guy. Yeah. Like I'm always trying to like that's me. Like I'm the guy that you got to worry about, because like, you know, like I am missing sleep, and I am showing up late to work because I was up till 3 a.m. Like, and I'm like, sorry boss, like you want me to build your dreams, who's gonna build mine? Yeah. Nobody's gonna show up for me and like write these songs or show up for me and like, you know, but like, yeah, Rap Champ was special because it was one of the first times like I bet on myself so hard. I like took out a loan for this equipment, and like, you know, like again, all this mental prep and all this, like it would have been I would have been crushed if I didn't take it home. But by the time, like I had said it so many times to myself, by the time that night came, it was like I felt comfortable, like that nobody else had wanted it as bad as, just because you want it doesn't mean you're gonna get it either. Yeah. But I think
yeah, no, the podcast or whatever it is, bro. We live on this main street, and you know what? Me and Papa Moon are gonna have to invest in like some soundproof back here or something, bro. But
it's ambient.
Yeah, it's just nice noises. You know, if we were recording a song right now, we'd be in some trouble. You know.
Or that'd be a perfect ad-lib track.
Sure would. But you know, and you talk about like just believing in yourself, like having that presence.
Yeah.
You're dropping a song, I believe, this Friday.
Friday, yeah.
So, and it's called Duck Sauce.
Duck Sauce.
And you dropped like the slammed edition of it. My goodness, they were going off.
Dude,
Or trouble ate the fire, right?
They know it's fire.
Dude, come on. Hey,
no, it's fire, dog.
You dropped a track called Duck Sauce. You gave us like the slammed version of it, where it's like stripped down verse wise, and like that. I think it's awesome. But you got to just talk about like, without giving away like the song itself.
Yeah.
You got to just talk about the song and what people should expect this Friday and how they can get it.
Yeah, so this is a release I'm putting on all streaming platforms, just so it's accessible to everyone. It's something, the track I'm really excited about. It started as like a little freestyle, and then I kind of like recorded the vocals, and then I kind of over that song reproduced like a new like a V2 of the beat, because it was just a YouTube beat. I just remade it and made it like slightly different, and then from there I added my vocals to it, and it just was something I became like very fond of. Like the track just became something, because I'm still getting my feet wet as a producer, like in terms of like some guys are 15 years deep in producing, just making 10 beats a day, and it's like I didn't have the music theory at the time where I would get frustrated where I'm like making like these little like elementary school melodies, and I'd just be like, this sucks, dude. I'm going on YouTube, because I write 10 songs at a time. Like I'll play 30 minutes worth of beats and just freestyle. I'll record the whole freestyle session, like the whole 30 minutes, and then I'll go through that 30 minutes and be like, okay, here's one, okay, here's one, okay, here's one. And then I sit down and like one at a time go through it, write out better lyrics than what I just mumbled, and then like that's kind of how I write. So you get that feeling of, it just creates that spontaneity that makes hip hop, like that in the moment, like whatever is gonna fall out of my mouth is just falling out of my mouth, you know. But at the same time, like that's never gonna be perfect. Like you see these rappers and they go on these radio stations and they're like, it's a freestyle, and he's sitting there doing a 16-minute like written verse, and you're like, bro, why are you calling it a freestyle? Like that's cat, bro. You know, if you're freestyling, you're gonna mess up. That's the whole idea. Like people haven't freestyled literally since like Eminem. You know, King Los is a good freestyler, like mainstream guys, but these underground guys, and they're looking at the camera and they have their choreography down, dude. You're not freestyling. Don't call it a freestyle. But like, that is how you write, though. I feel my pen is much stronger as an editor. Like I would rather come through with my pen and say, all right, this is the cadence I want to take. How can I fit what I want to say into that cadence? And then you can kind of like steer the story too. And then you can not swear, which is important for sync licensing.
Yes.
And for me in general, as my daughter gets older, I don't want her to not be able to listen to my vulgar lyrics as when I was younger. So like I try not to, like I rarely swear in songs anymore.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's how Duck Sauce came about as well, is I actually released my freestyles to the public, all my voice memos, not all of them, but like as I get voice memos, I cut them up and put them on my SoundCloud. Well, they're private on my SoundCloud, but you can get the link on my website.
Yeah.
Kind of thing is how I structure it.
Yeah.
But it'll just be like 10 freestyles, and like Duck Sauce is one of those freestyles that turned into a demo that, you know, I recorded over that beat that I rapped to, and then I went back and remade the beat, and then it just became like my thing. So it's a hip hop track. I know I do a lot of like alt stuff, but this is like bars. And like you said, like I've been having a lot of fun with like the promo for it. Like I did like a slam poetry version of it just to slow it down, just to give people like I hear some people hear you, but they're not really hear you though, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, dude, how funny would it be if I just, you know, did some like really trap lyrics, but did it like super serious and like slam poetry?
Dude, I love it. I love it. I love
funny,
it.
man.
And I'm excited to hear like the track on Friday.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you are excited to hear the track on Friday.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of great stuff coming up here. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. We are reaching near the end here, but I got 5 quick questions with Eli. I know I've asked you other questions, but these are completely different, out of the box questions that might put, stump you here. So I'm going to ask you these. There's no wrong answer.
Cool.
We're going to ask these and we're going to find out what's going on with you, what else you got going on, where people can find you and all that fun jazz. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. First question of 5 random questions with Eli Moon is, if you had, now I made this sound grim one time, And I said, like, your last dinner ever. And they're like, well, what's happening? I'm like, nothing. It's just your last dinner. So that's what we're going with. Nothing's going to happen. You just can't eat no more after this. Your last dinner on Earth. What is your meal you're choosing? See, and it doesn't have to be like fast food or anything. You don't have to be like, I'm choosing McDonald's. Like, what are you having? You having a steak? What are you getting?
The body of Christ.
Word.
The body of Christ.
Okay, I respect
Straight
it.
up
That's
communion bread.
yeah.
That's
Last
it.
I love it. Okay.
That's it, man. I'm going out the right way.
I'm with it. All right, next one I got for you.
Yeah.
Past or present, 3 people. It can be like, you know, artists. It can be inventors, whoever. People just that mean something, you know, something in your life. 3 people, past or present. You're sitting down having dinner. Who are you having dinner with and having a conversation with? I got you on that one.
Matthew McConaughey, number 1.
Okay.
I don't know why. He's just I've been listening to interviews with him recently, and I'm like, dude, just one of the coolest human beings like ever of all time. Matthew McConaughey. I want to be, because my third one's Jesus. Straight up.
Yeah.
My third one's Jesus.
So you got Matthew McConaughey and Jesus. Who is sitting?
Who is sitting in between Matthew McConaughey and Jesus? Like dream blunt rotation or something?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think, like, dude, it's gotta be, man. God, it's such a good, I go through seasons where I'm studying from people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to pull, I don't have any music people up there. Like, my heart wants to say, like, Drake.
Yeah.
You know, I just gotta know, like, I've spent so much time listening to Drake in my life that it's like, I would just love to just pick his brain. But I know, like, dude, that's a really good question. I think, yeah, in between Matthew McConaughey and Jesus, there's also, like, I don't know, man.
Drake, though? I mean, that's...
Yeah, Drake, I feel like I know him so well already because all his music, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I
Can
don't
you
know.
imagine the Matthew McConaughey feature on a Drake song that he's getting in the lab, like, after dinner? They're like, yo, we're getting in the lab, bro.
All right.
Like, dude, I love it.
That's
all right,
awesome.
I got a few more here for you.
Yeah.
If somebody's diving into your catalog for the first time, like, man, I want to know who Phoenix Vibes is as an artist, you're telling them to listen to what song?
Song?
Yeah. Or album. Song or album.
Yeah. Crimson.
Yeah, I love Crimson.
Crimson's my baby, dude. I love that song. The album, it's a mixtape, but like the project Crimson as well as the song.
Yes.
But like, yeah, that the Crimson project is, I think, my perfect balance of my alt stuff and my rap stuff on like one body work and storytelling. But also, like, I do have an autobiography mixtape called The Memoirs of Tyler Deshawn that I'm like really passionate about, and I haven't really marketed it as much as I should because, again, like, mixtapes, you don't own the beats to it. Like, I kind of get discouraged with, why am I going to dump all these hours into making videos and marketing something I don't actually own? But I've been in the process of reproducing that one. So, like, that, you know, because I did that when I was 25, and, you know, I'm turning 30 this weekend, actually. So I thought
Happy early birthday.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is the last week of my 20s. It's weird to say. When you say it like that, it sounds weird.
I know. My little brother tried to tell me I was old this past week, and he just turned 24. He said, you know, he's like, my sister goes, she'll be 27 in September. She goes, well, you know, I'm getting old. I'm almost 30. So what's that mean for me? I'll be 29 in July. And my little brother comes and he goes, you're cooked.
Brace yourself.
Cooked?
Brace yourself. Yeah. And you know, I will say, your brother's old for a young person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's the oldest young person. Because 25 is now, you're like,
yeah,
you can't get away with 22-year-old stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, he just turned 24, will be 25 next year. I'm like, dude, like, and he's in college doing the thing. No, bro.
He's an old young person.
Yeah, happy early birthday to you.
Thanks, bro.
That's exciting. And this doesn't have to be for a birthday trip per se, but if you were to go out for either music or just like a vacation to get some time away, where would you want to travel in the U.S. And then where would you want to go outside of the U.S.? You get two different answers.
Ooh. In the U.S., the Pacific Northwest has been calling my name for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big coffee fanatic. I just want to get a cup of Joe in Seattle.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. And just look off a balcony in the rain and then just go hike in the woods. Like, that sounds fire.
Okay.
Probably my girlfriend made me watch Twilight recently. And I was like, that was, because I had never seen it. And, you know, the whole time I'm like, you know, this is lame, but like the world they built and like the Pacific Northwest, I was like, okay, man, like that's pretty cool. Like that's a cool
Do
environment.
vampires drink coffee?
Dude, if I was, I would. Yeah, like straight up. Like,
Okay.
no, but they don't. In Twilight, they don't sleep, so I guess they don't really need.
Fair.
They don't eat or sleep, you know, which that sounds horrible. But like, yeah, I and outside of the U.S. I mean, honorable mention Hawaii, that'd be cool.
Yes.
But more so like, I don't even know what I'm picturing in my head, but like those temples that be like up in the mountains and there's like a million steps to get up there.
Yeah.
I just, something like that. Like, I just wanna, I'm so American, I'm so ignorant to like what's outside of, but like, I have like, my travel TikTok algorithms goes crazy, and I see stuff every day. I have a whole folder full of stuff where I'm like, oh, that's fire, dude, and I just save it, cause like, one day, you know, when I'm rich, I can just be like, eeny, meeny, miny, let's go here, you know? Yeah, like, I would say, like, I don't wanna say like Bali or something like that, but like, Tibet, or like, somewhere like super niche and like spiritual and like quiet, but like, dude, I'm such a foodie. Like, I'm scared to go somewhere where like I can't survive off the food here. For like, I'm not picky at all, but I feel like one of my friends spent some time in India, like one of my friend's older brothers, and he got like freaking like dysentery or like cholera or like some crazy like intestinal thing from like eating the food over there, and like I was always like, dude, I'm probably not ready for that, honestly. But like Japan sounds sick too though.
Yeah.
Like somewhere urban like that, Japan sounds sick. Like anime, like just be surrounded by like cool art and like animated buildings. Like, I'm a city boy in my heart, you know. So yeah, that's where I think like Japan or something like that would be, because there's probably like those temples like I'm talking about in Japan, you know.
We need to get Phoenix guys at temples. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying, bro.
We get to there, pal.
Let's go.
I'm gonna bring it back to the music here for my last question.
Yeah.
For anybody out there that maybe, you know, a young aspiring artist that maybe hasn't started yet or is just starting and listening to this and like, man, I need some advice on how to, and you've given a lot of game on this podcast, and I appreciate that, but some advice to somebody out there that maybe just be down on their luck or just looking to start up. What would you give advice to a new artist or somebody being a creative right now, getting into music, right? Like starting their career, what advice would you give them?
My advice is do not take advice. And I say that with a grain of salt because some people do offer you good like wisdom from their perspective, and I think people genuinely do want to help you. I'm talking about like there's countless people online that have authority in the music industry, and they're gonna try to tell you their version of it, but there's no one way. There's more than one way to skin a cat, you know, and you can't. You should test things. Like, be a scientist is what I mean by don't take advice. Like, you get ideas from people and you go test it out. You don't just take someone's word, because there are countless people that are going to give you like, this is how your song rollout should be, and if you're not posting 4 times a day, it's like, you know, if you want to create something, like listen to that voice inside of you and birth it into the world, like make it real, and then worry about like logistically, how do you make money off of it? That's a whole different, these are 2 different people that should be growing. Your business person, your entrepreneur should be always growing and learning, but your artist is like, that's a zigzag, that's not a straight line. You start here and you end up, now you're a black belt. You know, you start here, you end up, now you have a master's degree. You know, you go here like Papa Moon, you pass the academy and now you're a police officer, you know. For an artist, it's such a weird, like everybody's journey is different. People start later in life, people start earlier in life, but like, I started way too early worrying about how to monetize things, and it stressed me out and made me a worse artist, which you can't be it's easy to be an entrepreneur when your product is good. So they can infect each other. As much as they should complement each other, they can actually infect one another. Like, your entrepreneur can make you a worse artist, and your artist can make you like a worse entrepreneur because you're like missing work, missing paychecks.
Right.
But like, that's why I say, like, don't take advice, because there's people out there, like I heard 2 Chainz talk on an interview about, like, he's like, I hate when people try to act like they got a job or something and they're a rapper, and it's like, well, we have jobs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we can't just, like, this isn't paying the bills. And if ultimately that gives me the peace of mind and the freedom, like, mentally to, because like we talked about, like, I got somebody dependent on me. Like, if I'm missing checks and stuff, like, I've been through periods of my life where I'm not making enough money, and then I'm stressing out. And you can make good music from an angsty place, but it's just not sustainable. It won't get you over the rainbow.
Yeah,
You know.
makes sense.
But yeah, that's my best. Like, everybody's gonna give you advice. All these A&Rs, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't. If they knew, they would just literally go do it. But they don't. So they're gonna try to, like, flex their, like, experience and authority on you. But nobody knows what that journey looks like, and nobody knows, like, what God has in store for you. So you got to try things for yourself.
Yeah.
People told me don't drop a 100-song mixtape. They were like, anyone with any music background whatsoever in the industry would have been like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. And then I was looking at my SoundCloud numbers go up 21,000% because people were streaming the thing and then leaving it on and then just listening to the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
not the whole thing, but like they would just listen to it, and then it'd be 10 songs in and they'd be like, oh, I'm still listening to the same guy still.
Yeah.
Like, it's a 5-hour playlist of music that people put on road trips and stuff like that, or like, you know, so like I just, like, some of my greatest successes have come from doing the opposite of what everyone was saying. Not always, sometimes it goes exactly how they say, but like, not always. And that's where, like, those magic moments are. Like, I could say don't go focus on streaming and get into sync, but you might not be a sync artist. You know, like, some people's music ain't really good for sync. It's not like it's not good for it, but like, you swear a lot, you use a lot of brand names. You can't say brand names, so that might not be someone's path. Mine was pop enough and clean enough to where I didn't have to change my formula much, and sync was a better fit for what I was already doing. More so than like dropping stuff online and like trying to get, you know, 250,000 streams a month, which is equivalent to minimum wage at a job. Just want to throw that out there. 250,000 streams a month, like.
Dude, it blew my mind. The best month I had was a couple 100,000 streams on my album Moon and Sky, and I was like, dude, I made like $300, $400 for the month.
With that,
Like,
dude, that's
like,
balling out on the streaming budget,
I was like,
dude.
bro, like, it was crazy. That's crazy. But you get good advice there, you know, for, I mean, just go out and chase it. Go do it. Like, follow your path, whatever it is. I mean, like, obviously take it from, like, people you respect and you love, but also know that you have to go out and do it. No, somebody used to say nobody's gonna save you. You know, I mean, I believe the good Lord above is gonna save us one day, but right now and every day we still gotta go out and do it still too with the guidance. So, all right, I got one more question here for you, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Where can people find you? What else do you have coming up here? I know we have Duck Sauce this Friday on all streaming platforms. Is there anything else you want to share with the people that you have coming up? And where can they find you and get a hold of you? Where would you want to direct them?
PXVBS.com.
Yep.
That's going to be the main domain where that's headquarters, all the behind the scenes stuff, the freestyle stuff, anything that you would find value in as a listener is going to be there. Merch, newsletter, all that kind of stuff. Stay in the loop. The next thing I have coming out, Duck Sauce is coming out this Friday. I'll be opening for Chip the Ripper with my boy Young Low and Young Cap at the Brothers Lounge this Friday, so that's going to be pretty cool. That's going to be a rager. That's like the next performance I have lined up. I kind of been stepping back from doing the shows and doing a lot of video content, so That's really what I'm focused on right now, is just staying consistent in releasing something every day, because that's kind of like where the space pivoted to, where you want to make music, you're a video editor now, and like that's just what it is. So just like getting the hang of that, I want to be as good of a video editor as I am an engineer. So like the shows are kind of like fuzzy for this year. Supposed to be got something in the works with Kamikaze Kenji later this year.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. That's my boy. So you know, King Grim and I have a lot of stuff coming out. Chris Lugo, we have some songs sitting on the in cryogenesis. They're sitting in the ice box.
Somebody please tell Chris Lugo to draw some music. Please, and if nobody else knows about it, tell him. Chris, draw some music.
Yo,
please, my goodness.
What's up, bro? We gotta.
Bob will give it a thumbs up behind. He's like, come on, give us some music, man. Give us some Chris Lugo music. I went to listen the other day. I'm like, 2024, Chris? You haven't dropped music in Chris, come on.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
He knows how to create demand.
So we get all the Phoenix Files and Chris Lugo files, and somebody just released. No, I'm kidding, but no, exciting stuff. A lot of good features, a lot of good collabs, and a lot of just great work you're doing. And I'm proud of you. You're definitely one of these staples in the Cleveland scene and then nationally. So,
dude, thank you. You too, bro.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on the pod. It's been a long time coming, and you're rocking and rolling. If you're just now tuning in, yes, check them out, Phoenix Vibes. That's at PXVBS.com. That's where we're going to send you everything. You can find them on all the socials from there. Get to the newsletter. Get into the game with Phoenix Vibes, all right? So, again, that's Phoenix Vibes. Papa Moon producing the ones and twos back there. Shout out Papa Moon. You can catch him Saturdays at 5 p.m. here on the Inside Edge Network. Real Talk with Papa Moon.
Chill.
Yeah, this is the Inside Edge Network, Inside Edge Net. Give us a follow if this is your first time. We appreciate you. I'm Eli Moon. This is Conversations with Eli Moon here on the Inside Edge Network. We're going to hear from our sponsors. Again, at the beginning you heard from Fanatics. We're going to hear from Ellie Rose Fragrances. We're going to hear from W Energy, Sports Memorabilia, and of course from Awesome Moments. But until next week, that's Phoenix Vibes. I'm Eli Moon. We'll see you then.
All right.
Hey, I got something to show you guys. Take a look. It is spring. Happy spring to all of you. Take a look at what we have here for you from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Beautiful spring scent candles here for you. Hand poured with premium fragrance and essential oils. How about this? Our coconut soy wax candles bring fresh, uplifting spring scents to your home. Made with clean, natural ingredients, they're a mindful choice for sensitive spaces and those who love effortless seasonal fragrances. You got to check it out right now. There's the soft bloom and the lemon bar candles, all healthy ingredients, all from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And if you're a first-time customer, use the promo code InsideEdge20. That's InsideEdge20. Get this for yourself, for your friends, family, everyone. You want a good-smelling home, AlleyRoseFragrances.com will make it happen. Again, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Get the new spring candles. And when you order, if you're a first-time customer, InsideEdge20 is the promo code.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.